listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Your hosts, Nate and John, cover their shared history with the band, discover new music together, and cover the farthest reaches of the Deep Purple family tree and beyond. Here's Nate and John now.
Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 322, Whitesnake, Good to Be Bad, Part 1. And coming to you from the suburbs of Chicago, where we are inundated with dust storms, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Ragweed Matola.
There you go. Ragweed. I thought you were just going to say I'm your host, John, because the way you paused.
John, the end. Nothing else.
You thought they were going to be blown around the wagweed.
The wagweed.
Wagweed. The ragweed.
The wagweed.
No. Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. It's actually tea.
Even though it's 5 p.m. But that's okay.
That clip came up for me recently with from Golden Girls, where you know the one I'm talking about? Dorothy's all pissed off. And she's like, I shouldn't be living here with I shouldn't say anything before I have my coffee. And she takes a sip. A slut and a moron.
A B. Arthur classic.
She's got the delivery, but yeah, ragweed allergies kicking up.
Oh man, well, first of all, like I said to you before, 10 minutes before we're ready to sign on, and I hear outside my window. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, how do these guys know?
It doesn't matter. We could change the day. We can change the time. They're just ready to leaf blow.
We could do a friggin' midnight recording. Hey, we're doing overnights now. But yeah, like I just was outside yesterday. It was relatively nice day, and it wasn't too windy or anything, but just even with all that ragweed around, it's just like you can't enjoy being outside right now. Like my car looks like shit, like there's just crap everywhere. It's like worst time of the year.
It's bad. We had did you see that in the news, the dust storm that came through here?
No.
It was like one of those things where they're like, oh, there's a sandstorm alert. And like, it's like, I don't even take it seriously. You're just like, whatever. Like, are they just making shit up now? And sure enough, it just rolled through, like, unlike anything I've ever seen, blocked out the sun, just whipping around, wind, dust everywhere. And then for about, I don't know, a couple hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. And then it was just like blue skies. It was strangest thing. They said it's the first time since the Dust Bowl in 1934 that we've had a dust storm come through like that, and it was big. I mean, it was just coming in from Indiana, and it just like swept through, and just it was crazy.
Well, dude, I mean, a few hours, Jesus. I mean, if you told me like, oh yeah, just like blew everything up for like 10 minutes, I would believe that. But like 2-3 hours, Jesus.
I guess it was a combination of not enough. We've gotten like hardly any rain this month, and everything dried out, and it just kicked up. And because we get these like fire. Oh, it's fire weather. I'm like, what's fire weather? Does that mean just everything's on fire? It sounds bad, but I've never actually seen anything happen. So I thought it was going to be nothing, or it'd just be a little windy, but it was crazy. You could see in the sky. It looked like a brown cloud just coming through, just whipping around. It was nuts. And you go outside and you feel in your eyes like all like microscopic bits of dust.
Oh, don't go outside.
What?
I'd be hiding in the house.
Nah, I was at work, so I was like, I gotta check this out. Everyone's like outside just filming it.
Yeah, Jesus. I don't film anything anymore.
No.
I don't take any pictures. Like in the past 5 years, there'd be like no record of my life. I just can't be bothered anymore.
Except for the 2 hours every week on the Deep Purple podcast.
Yeah, really. I mean,
There you go.
I don't know. It's one of those weird things. Like everybody says, "Oh yeah, when you get older, it's one of those things, right?" It's like I don't really post anything on social media anymore.
Yeah.
If I'm at a thing, like when we were like Grand Bonnet, like I took like 2 pictures. I'm just like, I mean, everybody else will send me pictures or something. Like I just don't.
Yeah.
I'd rather just, be part of the experience.
Well, yeah, especially at shows, you look around and there's like 87 people filming. You're like, I'll just Google this or look it up on YouTube tomorrow, and
Yeah.
I can enjoy the moment and not have to worry about anybody else's or worry about taking any video myself.
But I mean, I guess it depends on the type of person you are as well, or if you have kids. Like, I mean, I don't have kids, but like, my sister-in-law will just like all of a sudden just be like photo dump, like 78 photos from today, and they're all photos of my nieces, and I'm like, Jesus, like how many?
Yeah.
And they're all like the same or similar pose, a couple of 2-minute videos, and I'm like, and I'm thinking, like sometimes I'll watch like, and there's like a 2.5-minute video of my youngest niece, and she's like dancing.
Yep.
And I'll watch about 30 seconds, and I'm like, yeah, I get the gist of it.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't have to watch the whole thing. So yeah, I mean, even like watching videos or looking through pictures and like scrolls. Yeah, okay, I get it. They're adorable.
I get it. They're adorable.
I just yeah.
Yeah, I've just getting off of social media has been a really good thing for me, other than just checking in with some people on Facebook. But I just go to Facebook when I get a message. I don't have it on my phone or anything.
Good
But
for
hey,
you,
folks, we're not here to talk about Facebook. We're here to talk about Deep Purple and Whitesnake. So, hey, if you want to support our show, there's a few ways you can do it. You can support our show by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Buy some merch on our Etsy store. Extra large shirts are back in the shop, so pick one up. We've got toques, we've got mugs, we got the whole 9 yards. Benefits: if you become a patron on Patreon or on PayPal for as little as $1 a month, you get access to our patrons only Discord, our rating spreadsheet, invites for our live stream episodes, links to submissions for all album rankings episodes, and access to banned episodes on Patreon. One of them was banned recently. It would have already come out as of this recording, but it was banned for some reason. What the heck was it?
I think it's because that was the episode I recorded with no pants on.
Yes. And the camera pointed down.
No, I just announced like, yeah, I'm recording this album pantsless, and like, oh, banned.
Yeah, well,
you can tell.
Too bad because the views were really starting to skyrocket.
I don't know who even knows why anything's banned.
Exactly, nobody knows. But if you become a Patreon or patron on Patreon, we will gladly accept your wonderful money to put into the show, to buy albums to review, to get tickets to live shows, all that sorts of stuff that we do. We put it all right back into the show, and we appreciate your support. Few quick things. One is
patron upgrade.
That's right. We do have a patron upgrade for the wonderful one and only Alan. Alan is upgrading to what he's calling the 20 is plenty 20 is plenty tier. That's hard to say.
Oh.
So thank you very, very much. I don't know if 20 means dollars, but it comes up to more in pounds. But at any rate, we're just calling it the simply 20 is plenty tier. Speaking of patrons at the executive level, at the in memoriam tier, the wonderful late Gerald, Jerry, Kelly, and family. At the $25 Uncommon Man tier, we have Ovis, Nakfi, and Purple Maniac. At the aforementioned 20 is plenty tier, we have Alan. That's a twofer of that one. At the 10-pound Good Doctor tier, we have Dr. Mike Catan. At the Turn It Up to $11 tier, Clay Wambacher, Frank Thielgard Mortensen, Mikkel Steen, Will Porter, PhD, PP, and Michael Don't Call Him Bradford Bagford. At the $10 Someone Came tier, Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans. And Peter from Illinois. And at the Deep Thoughts by John Matolatier, we have Fielding Fowler. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Okay. I thought you were going to
I
say
have
something
nothing to
else.
add. I'm like, yeah, yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much,
Well,
all of you, for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast.
what the hell was that?
It was a deep thought by you.
Wait a minute, from you, or did Fielding send it?
No, actually, Mark Roback is the official. He's been
He's been
given the
curating my
task
quotes.
of sending the deep thought for me every episode. So that I think was from not today's episode. I got one from the episode that came out today, but we'll get to that next week. But yes, thank you to all of our wonderful patrons for keeping us in good things. We really appreciate it. Our next rankings show is for the album Who Do We Think We Are? Patron rankings needed by August 18th. Become a patron if you want to be invited to the live stream and submit your rankings. Scott Haskin should be getting to that album very soon, probably before we get to our ranking. So you can check out Smoke on the Podcast for that. And then the only thing we have left before we get into the meat of the episode is Postcards from the Edge of Connecticut. And this one is actually coming us sort of from the edge of Connecticut, Rhode Island. This one is a Dell's Lemonade cup. For those of you that are not from Rhode Island or nearby, Dell's Lemonade is it no, I think it lost out to Autocrat Coffee Milk as the official state drink, right? There's like a big debate about that years ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I
But
feel like the Dells is more iconic because you don't have somebody driving around in a coffee milk truck near
That's
the beach.
true. So yeah, near the beaches they have all these Dell's trucks. I think I might have told you last summer as like we were looking for a truck the whole time. We saw one by the beach. We went like all the way around the parking lot, and we just as we pulled in, it just pulled out like it was avoiding us. Like, damn you! But yes, Dell's Lemonade. It's like a frozen lemonade. It's kind of like a slushy, like a frozen margarita, but lemonade, delicious. Got little bits of lemon peel in there. And this says, Nate, greetings from Graham Bonnet. But not actually Graham Bonnet. I think they mean the Graham Bonnet Show. Signed by Nice Sunny Day Mark, John, Pete, Steve, and Miss You from Rich. So sorry I couldn't be there, but I did get this wonderful complimentary Dell's Lemonade postcard. Then
I don't even remember like turning it over. I didn't even know what I was signing. I'm like, yep, there we go.
Yeah, just like they're just passing you things to sign. This is coming to us from Nashville, the Opryland Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. Dear Nate, I am out of stamps. I am also moving to Kentucky. I will review episode 22 after I get to Kentucky. TTFN Ralphie, with his Forever USA Christmas stamp. Then the next stamp, it says Churchill Downs. And it says, Nate, dear Nate, I'm all settled in Kentucky. This one's post stamped from Louisville. I am fully stocked on stamps. There is a post office just over the holler. I don't know what that means. I will listen to a new episode soon. VR Ralphie. VR. I don't know what that means. And then finally, doesn't look like I got one about episode 22. It says, Dear Nate, I skipped number 23 after Warhorse. I was concerned I only liked Deep Purple and Elvis. Are a lot of the episodes not Deep Purple? Do you ever do the Eagles? Or Revere? Ralphie. Or Revere. And there's a bald eagle on it. This one's also from Louisville, Kentucky.
So Ralphie.
So there's some missing pieces here once again because they arrive in kind of random order, but we'll get to more of them later. So, and then blast from the past. I was at the store the other day and I happened upon one of these. Remember these? The chip tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not from the U.S., it's these
Religious propaganda.
Yeah, religious propaganda, and it's basically like some cartoon of somebody who's doing bad things in life, and it's written from the perspective of somebody who has never done anything bad, because it's always like, I like to drink alcohol, and it's a guy drinking alcohol, or it's like smoking. Do you want to smoke some pot? It's always like stuff like that. But then it will say like, for example, it's gonna be this is like this guy that dies and goes to heaven, and he's like, I lived a real good life, and he's like sees like in heaven there, and then it will quote something from the a quote from the Bible, from Romans, as it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one. So it's just basically telling you everything you're doing that's bad. I used to find them all over the place, but I haven't seen one in ages.
Yeah, I usually find them like around like parking lots and stuff, like grocery store or whatever.
Yeah, they'll dump them on the ground or put them in your windshield or whatever.
Yeah, that's a bunch of horse shit. Don't tell me what to do.
I just love this guy on the cover. He's so basically he's had a heart attack and he's in heaven, and this like, it's kind of like chubby guy, and this good looking angel's like, now I'm going to judge you and tell you all the things you did wrong.
Not judgment.
It's all and it's just him like being proud, lying, stealing. Well, he's like, the picture of him stealing, he's stealing like a giant clump of cash. It's pretty good.
Well, I mean, if you're going to steal, do it right.
Exactly.
See, there's all those sins. They're all the fun ones.
I like this one where he's watching a dirty movie. It's like, nice. That's what everyone says when they're watching a dirty movie.
Yeah, that's what we all say when we watch a dirty movie. Ooh, nice.
Nice. And yeah, so basically this guy ends up going to hell. Oh yeah, there he is, being cast into hell, into the lake of fire. So there you go. Always a happy ending with those chick tracks. But anyway, enough talk about debauchery. Let's talk about debauchery, because we're going to get into a Whitesnake album. This one is an interesting one. This is Good to Be Bad. This is the album they released in 2008. And I was kind of, do you have anything on this album? Do you remember it coming out or anything?
No, when I saw the title, I'm like, is this like a concert or like what is this? So I'm not sure.
So that would be a no.
Yeah, most of the later Whitesnake albums are just kind of a blur to me. But
so on Christmas Day 2002, they released this on the Whitesnake website. Look at this website. This is what websites look like in 2002. Hot off the press, the Snake rides again. And it's got pictures of the lineup of the band. And obviously none of them were in the same place, but they're just kind of announcing this to the world. The history of the Snake. And there's a Christmas interview. None of this is visible anymore. You got to go to the Wayback Machine to see it. So I took a little screenshot because I thought it was pretty amusing. But it's got the whole new lineup of the band, a very cheeky looking picture of David Coverdale over there looking like, hey.
Look at this guy over here, the straight black hair and the open shirt.
Yeah, it's a Marco Mendoza.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, he looks like he's posing for like a porn.
He does. I like Tommy Aldridge. It looks like they photoshopped his head on top of a different body. But you look at the body and you're like, there's no way that's not Tommy Aldridge. It's like skinny little Tommy Aldridge body. But the way his hair is and everything, it just looks like a bad Photoshop job.
Yeah. And then you have like, what's his face in the middle there?
Red Beach.
Red Beach. He just looks like he's like, he's doing that. He's straining. And then freaking Doug Aldrich, who I had a friend I talked about like 2019, maybe it was. I went to
Yep.
the DO event in LA,
Hmm.
and that friend of mine is he's out there now because it happens in May, and he texted me and he's like, "Hey, I'm at the DO thing. Miss you, buddy. Send me a picture of Doug Aldrich. Looks exactly the friggin' same.
He doesn't change.
He's
This is
like
like
he's look
25 years ago. He looks exactly the same.
He does. And I don't, whatever. I don't know if he sleeps in like an airtight chamber or he wears a wig, whatever. It's like, do whatever you're doing, buddy.
I don't think so. I think that's his real hair. I mean, Tommy Aldridge doesn't change either, but he looked like 60 years old when he was 25. So,
Which, I mean, has served him well in later years because it's just like,
not so good
hey,
in the early years.
look at that still really old guy.
He's still really old. He's like Benjamin Button, but he just stayed old. Nobody pressed the start button on him. Yeah, so that's the little announcement that they made, and the last album we reviewed is from 1997's Restless Heart, which was really a David Coverdale solo album. They do this, they announce the lineup: Tommy Aldrich, Marco Mendoza, Reb Beach, Doug Aldrich, and Timothy Drury. This lineup they performed live just for like 5 years. They just played live everywhere. They did 2 live albums. One was Live in the Still of the Night with Marco Mendoza, and then he was replaced by Uriah Duffy for Live in the Shadow of the Blues. And Uriah Duffy on bass, a fellow Rhode Islander. And we do have kind of a connection to him because his brother was in our friend Scott's band, Badfish. So it's like a weird connection there. But Uriah Duffy was with them for this one studio album and then but several years with touring and everything. But he's a great bass player, no slouch. He was like I don't know if he still is Christina Aguilera's touring and studio bass player. So, people might turn their nose up at Christina Aguilera, but if you're working with somebody of that level, you are at the top of your game. Just like Joel Hoekstra plays for Cher, it's like they don't get slouches to play with big names like that.
True.
Then on drums, Chris Frazier, who toured with Eddie Money, Steve Vai, Tia Carrere, but not. I looked just to see, was he in Wayne's World, but he wasn't. That would have been awesome. And then Doug Aldrich, of course, who I learned, which you probably already know, is that he auditioned to replace Ace Frehley in Kiss.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I think at one point, like after he left the first time, everybody auditioned.
Yeah.
Or the story went anyways. They just had everybody from Eddie Van Halen to whoever being like, I want to be in Kiss. So it's
well, yeah, right. You probably. I'm sure, according to Gene, John Lennon auditioned, and George Harrison.
Yeah.
They were both. But sorry, I had to turn the Beatles down.
Yeah, just Lassie. She auditioned to be our new guitar player.
Lassie, the dog.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things like on his solo album. They're just like, I even like after like listing everybody like that was on the album, they're just like, Lassie was even on it. It's like, what? And you know what? I don't know if I forgot or followed up on that claim, but it's I mean, there's no like track where there's like a dog barking like audibly. So, but I mean, somewhere on that fucking album,
you didn't think
like,
that maybe he was joking.
No, well, I mean, it's no knowing Gene. It's just like the dog could be buried in the mix somewhere. But I mean, that was his basic.
The dog is definitely buried somewhere.
Yeah, well, no, he did. He said that fucking Lassie was on his '78 solo album along with Cher, Peg Bundy, everybody else.
Yeah, well, what's that girl? You want to raise your prices for the meet and greet? Gene's drowning in a well. It reminds me of that meme where it's like Superman rescues Gene Simmons from a burning building, and Gene Simmons charges him $2,000 for a meet and greet.
Wow, that guy Superman got off pretty cheap.
Yeah, he did. Well, he was, got to be nice to the big man. So so we got Doug Aldrich. So I guess it came from Carrie Stevens, Eric Carr's girlfriend, said that she recommended Doug Aldrich to audition. So I don't know. That's what I read. He was in the band Lion, and he was offered the part in Slaughter, but he turned it down to focus on Lion. And then he was also in Bad Moon Rising and, of course, Dio before joining Whitesnake. Then Reb Beach, the longest serving guitar player in Whitesnake history.
Wow.
I didn't realize he went to Berkeley. Very interesting. So, I mean, I know he's amazing guitar player, so it's not super surprising. Worked with Shaka Khan, the Bee Gees, and Twisted Sister. And he met Kip Winger when Winger was with Alice Cooper. And he formed Winger with Rod Morgenstein and Kip Winger.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because like all those guys are like really like proficient in like everything that's difficult. Like I think like Kip Winger writes like fucking operas and stuff. And no, seriously, I think he like composes classical music and like does ballet and like, you know, is like a Renaissance man or something. So it's like all those guys are like really, you know, and everybody's like, Winger, boo. In the meantime, they're like all virtuosos and everything.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of talk about how basically Beavis and Butthead kind of killed them with with Stewart wearing the Winger shirt, because they were kind of viewed mostly negative, like they weren't like hard enough for like other guys. But it's crazy when you look at the talent in that band.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all stupid because I mean, if you ever go back and listen to it, it's actually really good. I remember getting the first Winger album when it came out because I saw whatever, I think it was 17 with the video, and I thought it was really good.
Yep.
But I mean, you listen back to the music and everything, I mean, it's just good hard rock, just like, you know, anything else. And their follow-ups, like they had some good songs. But yeah, I mean, it's just like years later it takes you, because you got to get over the, you know, the marketing and the image and like, and then the people who make fun of them and stuff, you know. I'd be like, because I liked glam bands, and you know, everybody's like, oh, that stuff is for wimps. You should listen to Metallica because they don't wear makeup. It's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a shame because there was a very talented band. But after Winger stopped for a while. Beach had stints in Alice Cooper and also took over for George Lynch in Dokken. And then he's been involved with Night Ranger. They reformed Winger. He did the super group The Mob with Doug Pinnick and Kelly Keagy. So he's a very accomplished guitar player. And then on keyboards, Timothy Drury, who has also worked with The Mob with Reb Beach. He worked with Stevie Nicks, Pete's favorite, the Eagles, and the Eagles and Don Henley solo.
Oh.
And then on vocals, they got a guy named David Coverdale.
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah, why not? So that's kind of the lineup there. Pretty cool, little reformation here. I will admit I am not familiar at all with this album. I was not paying attention. This was the year that I got married, 2008. I was working and being in New York and not listening to Whitesnake, at least not contemporary Whitesnake.
Yeah.
This was produced, engineered, and mixed by David Coverdale, Doug Aldrich, Michael McIntyre, he'd been working with Coverdale since Coverdale Page. He's been involved with all like the recent remasters and everything. And then it says the Brutal Brothers. And if you look up the Brutal Brothers, that is like classic Whitesnake fashion. That is a nickname for Coverdale, Aldrich, and McIntyre. Also known as Los Bros Brutalos. Just funny that they didn't do Los Hermanos Brutalos, but yeah. And who else we got? Mike Tachi, maybe Tachi. On engineer, he worked with Bad English, L.A. Gun, Steve Lukather, Macaulay Schenker Group, Lynch Mob, Bullet Boys, and more. And with that, we get our favorite thing to do with any of the newer any of the newer Whitesnake releases, and that is the album art.
All right,
John,
now
what
I'm
do
gonna
you think of
I'm
this
gonna guess.
groundbreaking album art for Good to Be
Oh,
Bad?
oh boy. Ooh, another emblem.
Yep.
I
It still says was it Serpens Albans?
Yeah. See, I think that's the I mean, yeah, I guess it looks kind of cool actually. The big gold X. Although I don't know, like before it was what, like the marbled wall, on 87 and the wax seal and everything, and now it's what is this supposed to be, like bubbling gold or something, or
Yeah, it looks like I don't know if it's like it's golden, but it's like the X is almost like corroded or something. Like there's big like
yeah.
pock marks and like craters in it. I mean, it's kind of a cool look, but
Yeah, but I mean, the problem with this and every other Whitesnake cover after 87 is like you can't differentiate them from each other. I mean, in the early days, you just be like, all right, that's the one with the chick riding the snake. That's the one with
yeah,
the snake spitting out the apple. Like,
the
that's the
one
one
where
with the
the
snake, like,
snakes have the vagina mouth.
yeah, the snake going into the woman's cleavage, and so it's just like, you know, well, actually, there was one oh yeah, there was the snakes. There's the one with the two angels going like this, and there was a snake in
Hmm.
there somewhere. But I mean, yeah, this is now. It's like I can't. That's part of the problem. I think was the marketing. Is like can't tell one album from the next. Like the '87 one, and then after that they should have gone with something different. But instead, it's that same
Mm,
emblem logo, like album after album, and then on the box set and everything else. And it's kind of like you're like Whitesnake. Like, where's the snake? Where's the cool snake art?
yeah,
Where's
it
something cool with like a boa constrictor or some shit?
it's
You know?
yeah, it's on the one hand, I get what they are trying to do and keeping it like having this theme running through all the albums from 87 on. I will give them kudos for at least putting some color in this one. It's not just gray, like the gray marble. But yeah, I feel I'm pretty bored of it by this point. I get it from a marketing standpoint. At least they've been fairly consistent with a logo and with that little white stake, the WS seal, and all that sort of stuff. Whereas through the past years, and we've talked about with Deep Purple too, they've never had any consistency with their logo. But I am kind of bored with it.
Yeah, I'm over it.
I'd like to see something different. And honestly, I think it just looks a little cheap. It's like
Yeah.
I've talked about before. It's like that fake fancy look, Like, oh, we'll
Yeah.
make it all golden and everything like that. And maybe it's because I don't know if it's 100% computer generated. It looks like the WS in the middle is like a painting still,
Hmm.
but it looks like the X, this is their 10th album,
Yeah.
looks like computer
like-
generated. So
yeah.
I feel like if the whole thing was painted, maybe it would look a little better. But there's something about it like it's too perfect looking, so it kind of just looks like your brain is kind of like it just doesn't look real.
Yeah, it's like when something fake or like brand new is kind of poorly done to look weathered and old,
Yes, yeah.
and it just looks like a new thing that is cheaply aged.
Mhm.
And that's what this looks like. You can look. I mean, if you look at it, you see like all the little bubbles and like whatever, like fire. Like it looks like maybe it was like flamed or whatever. Like it looks, it looks like not authentic. It looks too like polished still.
Yeah, it's like when you're watching like a TV show and they're like, "Oh no, our house has been ransacked," and things are just like neatly turned over, and it's like you want to see a real mess. Look at my kid's room. That is a genuine, authentic, organic mess, not a fake one.
But I mean, also it's like, okay, good to be bad. It's like you could have done like some other creative thing with the album cover. You could have had like some guy like hitting on a woman, trying to put a snake up her skirt or something. While he's going like, I don't know.
You know what? I don't know if I don't think this is the reason, but I remember, and this could be totally made up, but I remember when Poison came out with Unskinny Bop.
Yeah.
And Bret Michaels was dancing with the like neon ladies. Someone told me at the time that was because his wife didn't like him having girls in the videos anymore. So he was dancing with the fake ones. And I wonder if this is like, well, Coverdale's married, he's got a new wife and a kid, and she's like, hey, could you stop it with the with the crude stuff? So he's like, okay, and he just did this. Although he started this well before marrying her, so who knows?
But I mean, I don't know. Still, it's like a band photo, like I don't know, something.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like there's
some kind
a lot
of concept. There could have
a
been
lot of things they could have done
behind
that was more creative. And you know what? Maybe it'll be our job as we listen to this album to figure out what they could have done that would have made for a better cover.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just kind of boring.
This is the back cover of the album, which again features like a different kind of gold shiny emblem. It's good to be bad, bad to the bone, it says underneath it, which is just kind of freaking weird. Like, why would it say bad? Like, it's weird because bad to the bone there's a famous song that everyone knows called Bad to the Bone.
Right. So you think, oh, is that, are they covering that? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. And they aren't. It just says good to be bad, bad to the bone. Like, was that the original artwork? Were they originally going to call the album Bad to the Bone? I don't know. That part of it loses a little of the consistency. It looks like an alternate take, which honestly I like a little bit better, that logo better than what's actually on the front, except for the Bad to the Bone part. And then you got the track listing standard, and there's a couple bonus tracks that we won't get into on this one. That's the thing. Then it's got the kind of raised, I think it's that beveled and embossed look on the font that just looks kind of cheap to me. Yeah. But it lists, David Coverdale, Aldrich, Beach, Drury, Duffy, Frazier. And then it's got yet another one with like two griffins holding up the like stone Whitesnake logo, which again, I kind of like. Not bad. Kind of like it better than the cover too. Then of course some lyrics, and then we've got a band shot on the inside with Coverdale in the center-ish, flanked by Aldrich and Beach. You've got Drury and Frazier on the bottom, and then Duffy off to the left. Duffy kind of gets like the prime real estate on this shot. He gets like almost the whole page to himself.
Yeah, right.
But the biggest pictures of Coverdale, as you'd expect.
Well, of course.
And then again, you just have like a variety of different weathered looking backgrounds for all the different lyrics pages. This one's like taken in the woods.
Yeah, I don't like this because it's like it seems like around that time, the early to mid 2000s, it was this kind of like made on my computer clip art type of stuff that just looked really cheap and kind of thrown together. Like this right here with the woods in the background and everything, it looks like a CD that you buy in like a religious bookstore or something, songs for Jesus,
It does. It totally looks like something you'd look at in the Christian reading room.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it looks, I mean, it kind of looks like kind of
No, you're 100% right. Yeah, it looks like, like the cover of a book. It's like Finding Meaning Within or something like that.
Yes, exactly. It looks like a self-help book. Listen to my calming voice, I mean, and the funny thing is that it's just like, I mean, I like these colors too, you know what I mean? I like those primary like warm colors, but I mean here it looks so cheesy.
Yeah, it looks like, again, just kind of like I know what they're going for, but it just does look a little cheap. And they're putting the page numbers in Roman numerals, so it's page 16, page 17, and they've got those little swirls and flourishes around each one. Like, it's like a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, also like I've never been a huge fan of gold. I just think that gold looks really like just cheap.
Tacky.
Yeah, tacky. I mean, I don't want to say it looks cheap because gold is not Gold is probably not cheap, but yes, it looks very.
I wouldn't mind having a bunch of gold, but yeah, when it comes to like
but it looks tacky,
appliances
yeah.
or not appliance, there's no real gold appliances, but like fixtures and things in the house. Like
Yeah,
I don't like the shiny gold. Like I like the brushed nickel sort of look or something a little that's not just like so shiny, you know.
Well, I mean, even I would do that as well. Like, I think like around, funny enough, around this time, if I was wearing some jewelry, I would usually wear like, maybe a necklace or maybe something around my wrist. But any jewelry would always be silver as opposed to gold because, it was less kind of flashy or tacky looking.
You didn't want to lean into the Italian too much.
Oh God, no.
Hey.
Oh. But yeah, I've seen like gold fixtures too. Like as I'm, redoing the bathroom and some of the like I mentioned on the another episode, and just looking at fixtures, and I'm just like, oh man, I have like gold fixtures. Like who's that for? Like it just, I don't know.
It just seems like 40 years out of date.
Either that, or I feel like it's something that if it's done right in the right context and you have enough money, like you could do it well as long as you don't overdo it. But it's like I am not that creative to figure out how that kind of crap would fit in. So brushed nickel it is.
Maybe it was because this is the first album that Whitesnake released after the release of the movie Goldmember. Maybe that's why. I love gold. Then we got another blue one here. This is like from the Japanese version. So there's all this stuff, which is Japanese, and I'm not going to read it because I can't. And then the obi, and then there's a little like send away or something for a Whitesnake t-shirt where it says "Good to be bad," and they got the classic like Whitesnake snake on it too, which looks
there you go. Now that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm assuming. Oh yeah, so that the snake is the front of the t-shirt and the back says Whitesnake, good to be bad. So he's kind of tying in the old and the new. Yeah, so that's the album art. Nothing too crazy. Then we get that album art, I should say, was designed by DC, David Coverdale, and Hugh Gilmore, who had done some work with Nazareth, ELP, Black Sabbath, Wasp, Iron Maiden, and the list goes on and on and on. So lots of different folks that he's worked with over the years. Yeah, and that's kind of the rundown here. I might get some stuff from Jorg for the next episode, but haven't heard back from him yet. But this is obviously something fairly contemporary, where we would have been able to absorb all this stuff real time quite easily, but didn't because we were doing other things. I will say that it is time to thank our next level of patrons, then we can move on to the actual songs. Okay. And for the first level of patrons, our core level, we have at the $6.99 new nice price tier, we have Spike's Ghost and Sugar Tea. For the $6.66 tier, we have Steve Coldwell, Arthur Smith,
Getting support from the patron Arthur Smith,
Anton Glaving,
pain in the glaving,
and Charles Meadows. At the $6.65 almost evil tier, we have Kenny Wymore and Richie Sucksmith. At the 70 Norwegian kroner tier, we have Kai Runa. Yes, I am Norwegian Olsen. At the $5.99 the nice price tier, Robert Smith and Carl Hellberg. At the 60 kroner Scandinavian Nights tier, we have DJ Newt Martin Johansson. At the €5.50 tier, we have Merlin Rota. And at the $5 money lender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Allman, Alexei the Perfect Stranger Slepikov, Kev Roberts, Percival Frequency, Scott Zern, Cynthia Doobie, Raf Calf.
My Czechoslovakian is not so good.
Coyote Bongwater. John Maselli.
Coming on, Mona.
Sarah Sanders.
No, Kelly Clarkson!
Jelly Bean, Evan Robeson, Richard Fusey, and Purple Swede.
Sweet.
Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast.
I think given that this is a Whitesnake episode, you should have gone with the other JLT quote.
Oh, you're right.
You guys ever have sex?
Sorry. I'm slipping. Okay. So there you have it. We are ready to get into the track. Well, I shouldn't speak for you. Are you ready to get into the tracks?
What did you say?
I said we are ready. I didn't.
We are. Yeah, no, you can speak for me. We're ready.
All right. I didn't want to speak for you, You're your own person. Okay. The first track on Good to Be Bad, Bad to the Bone, Best Years. Very heavy.
Okay. Not what I was expecting.
And it should be noted, all these songs are written by Coverdale and Aldrich on this album.
Okay. Oh, Coverdale still had his voice.
Yeah. 17 years ago. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Seems like it was just yesterday. It's kind of a Zeppelin-ish guitar thing they're doing there. That like discordant. I know, here we come with the Zeppelin references. I feel like his voice is lower in the mix than I would expect.
Yeah, I was gonna say everything's kind of blended together.
I mean, it's 2008, so you're getting some,
is this around the time of the Sound Wars?
the volume wars. It's pretty brick wall.
Yeah, just everything is just thrown together. Well, not thrown together, but you know what I mean. Everything's just all garbled together in the same mix,
Yeah, it's just a very, very, very loud.
No, but you know what I mean? It's like this. It's a very I guess thick and full sound, but it's like, Coverdale. The drums kind of feel like they're in the background.
Yeah.
The guitars are like, they have that really great kind of like stereo effect, surround sound type of thing, but that kind of overtakes the mix a little bit. And I feel like there's a keyboard in here, but
somewhere.
But I mean, you can feel it more than you can hear a keyboard line.
Same thing with the bass. It's there. You can feel it, but it's almost like, if you were at a concert, your chest would be rattling from the bass drum and the bass. Now, I'm assuming that that's Beach.
Why would you assume it's not Aldrich?
I don't know that Aldrich had any solos. Doesn't seem to say anything. I mean, that sounded like it would be more of a Beach solo.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know that like anything I've ever heard Doug Aldrich do, he doesn't do a lot of tapping.
No.
You know, kind of that shred stuff.
Yeah, and Beach is a very technical player.
Yeah. So yeah, let's say that'll be our best guess.
In the liner notes, there's a section called Amigos de la Serpiente Blanca.
Whitesnake.
Really leaning into that. It thanks a lot of people. It just says guitars when it lists both of them, so they might be getting some, because I know now Hoekstra and Beach trade off solos. Damn. that was a raucous ending there. An onslaught. I do like that, just kind of catching some of the lyrics and perusing through them, that it's, he references Into the Light, his solo album from a few years prior. But it's also like this very heavy but positive song. He's talking about how these are the best years of his life. Usually it's like, if you see a song like with that title, it would be like, I gave you the best years of my life, and just all bitching about somebody wasting your time. But he's actually, it's like a love song to his wife and his young son at that point, that this is the best time of his life. And following him now, 20 years later almost, he seems like he's having a blast still. So good for him.
Oh yeah, it's Coverdale.
Yeah. His life has been a cornucopia of delights, as he said. All right, John, what do you think of the best years of Coverdale's life?
I'll give it a 3. I think it was pretty. Thought it was pretty good. I feel like it just started off kind of generic-y.
Yeah.
But just like the sound, like we said, like the production kind of feels very, mid 2000s. But I mean, Coverdale still sounds pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to take me like a few songs to kind of settle into the sound here, because this is like the most cohesive band or band of people that I've ever heard of, that he's had on, not just a bunch of studio musicians or maybe a bunch of guys that I haven't heard of, but it's definitely a different sound for him, because I feel like he went almost a little back to his solo roots a little bit, and solo album roots in the last album, and
Mm-hmm.
Now he's kind of getting heavy again, but I don't know. I don't know if there's anything in this that's like, it was pretty good song, but I think just again probably a little generic.
Yeah. I will also give it a 3. You can't deny the energy, how heavy it is. I don't like the production so far. It's just very, very brick walled, and I don't know. It's almost cliche to complain about brick wall mastering these days, but and yeah, it's more the mastering, I guess, than the production. But yeah, man, it's just the problem with that kind of mastering is it's just very, very fatiguing. And I would be worried that if I was listening to this straight through, that after 3 or 4 songs, it's just like, man, I need a break.
Yeah.
But it's you can't get away from it in hard rock. Like all the modern hard rock stuff that we listen to, the Dead Daisy stuff, all of that, it's got this production. You can't avoid it, and it's been prevalent now since the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Probably going back to the 90s even, but I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of it. I had to just to give you an idea of the volume. I had it at the normal level I always bring songs in at, and I had to bring the volume way down because it was so overpowering. You won't hear it on the audio podcast, but maybe on YouTube a little bit. But yeah, it's a lot. But the next track has a song, or has a title, I should say, that it indicates maybe we'll have a little bit of a rest. It's called "Can You Hear the Wind Blow?" Maybe not. The answer is no, I can't, because you just blew my ears out with the last song.
Cool riff. I like that. See, this has got a hook. This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this song's got a bit of a swing to it.
It's a good riff.
Classic Coverdale bridge.
Yeah. I don't know about that lyric.
Yeah.
Signifying is not a great lyric, a great word to use in a song. It is a good riff, but yeah, I'll get to it later. I'd say he's doing a good job so far of hearkening back to the style of Whitesnake in their US heyday, you know? Like, This sounds like it could be a mid-'80s rock tune. So I'm sure for people who are looking to recapture the glory of the 87 days,
Yeah.
this is probably a breath of fresh air. Is that Coverdale on backing vocals too? Because I don't see anybody else listed.
It might be.
Doing the air bass.
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts on this as well. I'm kind of grooving. Yeah, I don't know that using signifying is as like egregious as using the word hobo back in the day, but might be one of those lyrical misses by Coverdale.
But yeah, it's a rare single word miss by Coverdale.
Signifying hobos. The only way it could have gotten worse.
That certainly would have been a step down.
Oh, he really is harkening back to his early work.
All right. Can you hear the wind blow? John, can you hear the spreadsheet hum? What does the spreadsheet do? Does it hum? Does it?
Can I hear the spreadsheet blow? Like the flapping of paper, like.
Yeah.
I know.
Zoom's gonna cut that out.
Like,
there you go. The sound of the spreadsheet. Yeah, because it's a paper spreadsheet that we have.
yeah. You know what? I'll give it a 4.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was interesting, right? It was good. Like, I thought it was a good song because it had elements of like good Coverdale writing in there. It had a good riff. I think that they were like intentionally trying to do something very 87, like, because with the riff, he slid down on the string like Sykes didn't know those. He's like da da da. But I mean, there's no way that it would even sound as close to as good as Sykes did when he did those slides. But it was still cool. But it was like I liked the tone of the guitar, but at the same time it bothered me a little bit because it sounded kind of buzzy. It sounded kind of like just again with the the mix or the production or whatever, a little sterile. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it was heavy and it was cool. Like, I mean, I could overlook it because the riff was really swinging. Coverdale sounded great. At first, I didn't like how when during the chorus, it kind of instead of going along and keeping the beat, it went kind of like halftime, I guess.
Oh yeah.
And but then I was like, okay, that kind of differentiated it. You don't get fatigued because they're kind of playing the same riff, and you're not just doing that and doing like the same tempo the whole time. So yeah, I thought it was good, but again, like it leaned a little bit, a little bit generic rock, but had some good elements in there because it's Coverdale. You could tell some of his writing.
Mm-hmm.
In there, so yeah, I thought it sounded pretty decent. So, especially after the first song, I probably should have opened with this, the album.
Yeah, perhaps. I'll give it a 3.5. I like it better than the first track. It's got a good riff to it. I'm not one to often comment on or analyze lyrics, but I just that signifying changes thing really bothered me.
Signifying changes.
It's like, because can you hear the wind blow for me and you? Okay, fine, right? We got it. Signifying changes we're going through. It's like, yeah, I get it. It's like that you used the metaphor and then explained exactly what you meant by the metaphor. So like, I didn't like that because I just found like it was completely unnecessary. I don't know what you put in its place. I don't like the word signifying in lyrics at all. That's a separate issue, but the second issue is explaining the metaphor that you just delivered. And it's not like it's a crazy out there metaphor like, whoa, the wind is blowing. I've never heard what's that Scorpion song, the
winds of change.
Winds of change signifying change.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I didn't care for that. But yeah, so I don't know really what he's going for with this. He says ride the rainbow, which I think is kind of interesting. It seems like kind of another love song with his wife, but he's also talking about the changes that are coming. So I don't know what changes he means. They're married, they have a kid. So I don't know, maybe they're moving. It was when they moved to Tahoe. I don't know. But at any rate,
maybe they're moving.
Yeah, maybe that was what it is. They're getting new countertops installed. in the Tahoe
Installing
house.
new counters.
We used to have granite. Now we're going marble. Big changes at the Coverdale household.
Signifying changes at the Coverdale household.
Signifying changes that they're going through. Okay. The next track up is called Call on Me. A lot of effects on that guitar. Damn, there's a lot of really good hard rock and riffs on this. Whoa.
Oh, Coverdale's sounding good.
Yeah.
What?
The lyric. Oh.
The hell was that?
Just had a little break up there. The lyrics are. In the chorus, 'cause I can turn back the hands of time and make you mine, sweet and fine. I can call on the hounds of love to chase you down and bring you home.
Devil Dog, The Hound of Hell, Tuesday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain, right after the paper chase.
I feel like I'm acclimatizing to the sound of this album a little better by now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get over the Hounds of Love, though. That's a tough one. Wow.
Some good stuff.
I love that. Over here!
He's into it.
Yeah, listen to the lyrics here.
I mean, you gotta give it to him. He's creative.
The Hounds of Love, yeah, it's a very weird image. But this is... He's got two pretty standard love songs before this, and now this is kind of his horny song already.
His horny song.
Where you could argue that the other two are horny songs, too.
I mean, you could have said, like... send out my serpents of love to slither after you to and fro.
I'll slither all over you, right?
So yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, I think you're right. I am starting to like or get used to the sound. I don't hate the sound. I don't hate the sound of the guitars. I like the,
Yep.
big crunchy guitar. It's just, I guess I wish, like, it was maybe a little more raw,
Mm.
you know, raw production. Maybe it sounds like, what, a guitar like that sounds like it's plugged directly into the board. You know what I mean? There's like no
Yeah,
room.
it's
There's no
possible. Yeah.
room sound. There's no warmth from the amp. You can't hear like the fingers on the strings type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like
Yeah.
I think that's what it is about it. Is it just sounds that's what makes it sound sterile. Is it sounds like they just plug like directly direct in and you can hear the riff. And I mean, yeah, it's big and monstrous and but I mean, you know what? I'm gonna overlook that because it's actually not bad. Like this is another one that has a lot of like swag to it. So I think.
All right. So, what's your ranking for Call on
Um,
Me?
you know what? I'll give it another 4, despite my sounding like I didn't like it. Well, because
Yeah.
Coverdale sounds really good. It's like energetic. Like the riffs are good. Like the songs like do have a great swing to it. I do have like again, I have a problem with how kind of in the background the drums kind of are. you
Mm,
know and like I don't know, around this time too I'm not really crazy about like Coverdale's gang vocals in the choruses
mm.
you know
Yeah.
but I mean I don't know if it's like how he did them or if he just started doing them like that, but yeah, I mean it's not like a deal breaker though.
I'm gonna give it a 4 too. I do really like this one, despite the Hounds of Love, which I think is weird.
Or
But it's
because of the Hounds
because of
Love.
the maybe I grew to love the Hounds of Love, but it's a weird, slightly aggressive song about how he's gonna make somebody his,
Yeah.
to the point where he's unleashing the hounds of love. To bring them to he's got bloodhounds after this woman. It's kind of creepy. Like, I want you so bad. I'm releasing the hounds to bring you back to me. But yeah, I mean, it's a good riff, good song, good solo. Reb Beach is sounding great. Aldrich is writing some incredible riffs on this so far. Yeah, I think it's there. The thing that I kind of always was, that I learned the hard way when recording, was that you kind of get a lot of the ambiance and the room sound from the drums. So if you isolated these drum tracks, maybe you'd hear that, but because of the way it's mastered, I think it's masking a lot of the natural room sound and reverb that maybe you would get from those overhead mics, and maybe doing like we would do, if we had a good room, we'd do overhead mics, and then we'd put overhead mics 10 feet back, just to catch, low in the mix, but to catch that room sound. So I think that's where, that combined with your supposition that they're just plug in directly into the board. And then, vocals are usually recorded in a dead room so they can add reverb. So there's nothing really there to bring a room sound to it. So it sounds a little, and I don't want to say sterile. I don't think it sounds entirely sterile, but
no, it's
more
just
sterile
like
than I would like.
Yeah, it doesn't sound, it doesn't have and I mean, don't want to sound like, I'm meaning to say that the record was meant to sound that way. I mean, obviously it was engineered to sound like very, polished. But something that I guess you would consider polished, like the 87 album is polished as compared to like earlier Whitesnake albums, but it was still had a really raw type of sound and feeling to it, This one doesn't, like I feel like we might be getting into the era here too of like digitally like moving those tracks together so everything's synced up perfectly and all that kind of stuff. So
Way possible.
yeah.
All right, the next track up, maybe this is the slowdown. It's called All I Want, All I Need.
You might be right.
Ooh. Yeah. Up tempo though.
All right, definitely has is this love type of vibe.
Yep.
But just different enough. Very cool.
Wherever you go, I'll be there. I'll be waiting to care for you. Whatever you want, I'll try to give. No matter what I have to do, through thick and thin, I'll be your friend.
I really like this.
By your side till the
Kind of mad.
end.
I thought I was gonna not like this album.
You're kind of mad.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad that I like this. I should just be like, man, this is a ripoff of Is This Love?
But it's not though. It's definitely different.
It's very similar, but
So come on and bring it to me. You're all I want, all I need. And it's
I mean, some of the elements, like in the song, like they kind of echo it.
Yep.
But I mean, this is more of like a modern day at the time Coverdale chorus.
Well, it's a 20-year gap from 87,
Right.
where he's embroiled in the midlife crisis lust of having found Tawny Katane in this tumultuous 2 or 3 year relationship that burned hot and just exploded. And now he's found a woman that he loves on a different level, and he's writing all these songs about how he feels about love, and still horny, but he's horny for more than just sex.
He's horny for commitment.
He's horny for starting a family with this beautiful woman that he's met.
Such a horrible use of the word horny. No, I'm seriously horny to settle down.
We have to see if any of the reviews mention the phrase horny for commitment.
That line that right there is very melodic, that runs throughout the song. I like that.
Yeah.
Very, like, simple. I think there are definitely parts of this solo and like the tone that he's using that he is like, I can tell that he is like trying to imitate John Sykes. Like they're trying to get that feeling.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong.
I mean, why
just
wouldn't
like-
you try to evoke the memory and feeling of your biggest commercial hit? And,
Right.
What's going to get so many people that loved that back into the band or keep them with the band?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I don't like that, but then I find myself like first thinking like, I don't like that they did that.
Yeah.
But it did its job. It is like after a while I hear it and I'm like, Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I like it, you know?
He's got that like screaming Coverdale in the background brought down low.
Yeah.
So it almost sounds like it's somebody else singing, but I'm pretty sure it's him. And all I can say is, nice. The most disturbing part of this chick tract is this guy is like, so he dies, he has a heart attack, and he goes to heaven. And in all the heaven shots, he's naked. He's just like the chubby guy. He's all naked, and he's like remembering all the bad things he's done in life, like the one time he watched a porn movie, and
oh, for crying out loud!
And they have a picture of him as a baby playing a drum. And he's like, "Oh no, you're gonna judge me on my whole life." And he's like, "For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested." Mark 4:22. This guy's screwed, man. But anyway, all I want and all I need is your ranking and rundown of how you feel about the song.
Well, I said a lot of it during the song, but I'll say it again. I'll give a 3.5.
All right.
I actually really enjoyed the verses. The chorus I feel was kind of generic of the time Coverdale. It just, it didn't have the same kind of catchiness as the rest of it. I did enjoy the solo. I did enjoy how, the tone and the style really was obviously trying to evoke John Sykes.
Mm-hmm.
What he did. Basically, I feel like this is like trying to be Is This Love, the sequel, loosely.
Yep.
Again, not saying that in a derogatory way. Like you mentioned, like why wouldn't you try and reduplicate a formula to sell albums or make a good song? But yeah, I think it was a pretty decent ballad. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I will also give it a 3.5. Yeah, I mean, not breaking all I want, all I need is, it's a pretty sort of generic love song sort of thing, but it's done with a lot of feeling. Really nice guitar solo. Good feel to it. I think it's, if their intent, maybe, I don't know if it was their conscious intention or unconscious, but either way, it evokes memories of 87 to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the next track I don't think is going to be a ballad because we are getting to the titular Good to Be Bad.
It says Good to Be Dead in the spreadsheet.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oops. It is not good to be dead. It does say good to be dead. Oops. Oh, it's a nice groove to it. I feel like the drums are more
I was just going to say. Yep. Yeah, this right here, this is capturing like some early Whitesnake vibes.
Yep. It's the first time I'm really hearing big hints of like early 80s Whitesnake.
Yes, pre-87.
You can almost hear Bernie Marsden coming to back him up on some lines,
Ah, there you go.
Yep.
That's where it came from. What does this sound like?
Hoochie Coo.
Like the melody, the way he's doing the melody and structures the verses, it sounds like something from like one of the early '80s Whitesnake albums, and it's driving me nuts. I can't place it. It's good though. So I kind of like how on this album it seems to be pulling from his songwriting and other things that he did that were good, and he's using them in this album. Is it to the bone? Come on, if he goes to the bone.
To get in your pants.
Come on, if at the end of the song, if he goes to the bone.
And he does like a big breath into the mic. To the bone.
I'm calling it.
Let's see. I hope he does. It's definitely ramping up the horniness with every song. You know, this one is like, I can't keep my hands off you, and all this sort of stuff. Like he's really, and I don't know if he's going for the double entendre with "bad to the bone." I don't know. She said, "Good to be bad." You should say, "Good to be bad, good to the bone." Be good to the bone.
Oh, be good to the bone. You pervert.
Did he go bad to the bone?
Yep.
Did he really do that? Oh, come on. Coverdale.
Oh man.
What?
I don't know. He missed a real opportunity to just go
to do the
to the bone. I mean, even if he didn't like do it like toward the end of the song like that, but even if he sang one of the lines like that at the end of the chorus, would have been a cool callback.
Yeah. All right, John. What do you think about "Good to be Bad"?
Bad to the bone.
Bad
good
to
to
the
be
bone.
good to be dead.
I don't know what that came from.
I saw that. I'm like, that's a weird title. You don't say "good to be bad," but it's "good to be dead." So it's
"Good
like,
to be dead" is a very macabre turn for what was just been a straight love song album so far.
You know what? It had a lot of good elements, but I can't give it up to a 4. But I'll give it a 3.5.
All right.
Just because the parts of the song that were good, like the riff, the verse, that kind of callback to his writing style of early Whitesnake, I really liked it.
Yep.
So yeah, the parts that I liked, I really liked.
I also struggled and wanted to kind of hook it up to a 4, but I'm going to give it a 3.5 as well. And it bothers me that he says "bad to the bone" because it's not like bad to the bone is like a super common expression that George Thorogood happened to write a song about. Like that is where it comes from.
Well, he also, when he went bad,
that was inexcusable. Like, come on, dude, you can't do that. Like, we're already all bothered by the fact that you're saying bad to the bone because there is already a song that says that and everybody knows it. And again, unless I'm mistaken, I don't recall that expression really existing outside of that song before that song was made. And it's certainly a big enough hit for George Thorogood that that's all anybody thinks of when they think of that expression. Right. So to just, I don't know, it would be like, I'm trying to think of an example. It's like if you had a song and you're just like in the chorus just threw in that you want to rock and roll all night and party every day. It's like, even if it's completely different melody and everything, it's, you just can't do that. Like it's something that was invented by somebody else.
Yeah, like if he's like party every day, he'd be like,
yeah, if he
don't do that.
If he said party every day for like the whole song normally, and then he like invoked Kiss the last time he said it, it's just like no. Like I just feel like you're David Coverdale. You got to write something else. You don't have to say. You know, it's good to be bad. You know, he could have said bad to be good or something. I mean, that's lame, but you know, like, bad to the bone is just, I don't know. I have a real hard time with that one. I just don't think he should be, I don't know, stealing that line from Thorogood. And I don't even like that song. That song annoys me. But maybe that's part of it.
Lyrical missteps, you know.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, there's a few weird lyrical missteps on this where I feel like I don't know if this is the first time we're seeing like a completely uncensored Coverdale where he doesn't have anybody telling him, no, we're not doing that. We're going to change it. I don't know if Chris Frazier was that guy. I think he might have just been like, no, I'm going to do whatever I want. And somebody should have been like, you know, maybe don't use signify. Maybe don't say bad to the bone. These are all little changes too. Like, not hard. You could have kept the whole feeling of the song the same, but it just kind of bothers me. But anyway, I think we can do one more song in this episode, and we can do the remaining songs and a kind of a breakdown on the next episode. Track number 6 on this compact disc will be All for Love. Whoa. The Iron Maiden? That's really reminding me of something.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, it must be, right? Is he going to start... He's going to break with the love pattern and start singing about, like, ancient Egypt? That'd be great.
Oh.
Now it sounds like Thin Lizzy.
Yeah, right?
Even his singing does. Just invoking all the great 2 guitar groups of the past. If he starts talking about how there's going to be a jailbreak somewhere in the town, we'll know. I like the guitars a lot. I like the invoking Phil Lynott.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. Oh no, he said town. We can't say that.
She's coming somewhere in this town.
Are the boys back in it?
He wants to get his boy back in the town.
Oh boy.
What's that like? His first lines of the song is like, I don't mind if you want to talk about the weather. I don't mind if you want to talk at all. There's some other song that starts like that where it's just like, I don't care if we're talking at all. I don't know that it's even necessarily Deep Purple related, but it's reminding me of something like that.
Yeah, it's hard to think about it, remember what it could be from when you're hearing a different song.
He ends it with, I'm gonna crawl for love.
Okay.
Okay. It's like, I'll do it all for love. I'm gonna crawl for love.
Okay.
If you know, there's at least one misstep in every song. Well, doesn't he say in that song, I'm gonna crawl all over you? Like, in the song Whitesnake, right? He's like, I'm a Whitesnake baby, I'm gonna crawl all over you. Like,
yes,
don't
that's
crawl.
it. Mm-hmm. Interesting sound on the guitar.
Yeah. Nice solo.
I mean, I have to say that so far, album is pretty good because it's very riff based.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting a lot of chunky riffs and rhythms and melodies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think he's doing a lot right on here. I mean, I'm enjoying this album a lot more than I thought I would.
Same. Very hard hitting. Be a good if they were doing album sides, that would be a good side closer right there. But John, do you do it all for love?
No, I do it. I'm horny for commitment.
He does it all for commitment.
I do it all for love. I do it sometimes for love.
Yep.
Mostly for Cadbury eggs.
I do it all for Cadbury eggs.
Yeah, that's my version.
It's a version of love. He's horny for chocolate.
I'll give it all for 3.
Okay.
There was some good stuff in here, but as soon as you said Thin Lizzy, I'm just like, it ruined it for me. I'm like,
oh no.
No, but you were right. But the thing is like it sounded too much like it. And then the rest of the song sounded very kind of paint by numbers, generic, kind of like filler track. So it was like it wasn't bad. It wasn't great either. You know, I think it was maybe a little too derivative of other things. So
I'll give it a 4. I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but I really liked. It was kind of a good thing to me that it sounded like Thin Lizzy. I kind of liked it. But it is, Scott and I recorded this morning, and I can't remember if we talked about it on the episode or if we just talked about it before or after, but it's just like the one kind of qualm we have with Whitesnake and Coverdale is just it's the same song again and again, subject wise. It's just a guy is in love or he's super horny and he's gonna explode. And this is like the gonna explode is sweet infatuation, hear me crying out and begging for more. It sounds a little more than infatuation to me. usually not screaming with I'm infatuated with this. Oh! I'm gonna tear this place apart just to get close to you. I do it all for love. I'm gonna crawl for love. I see thunderbolts and lightning in the distance. Oh girl, I know you're coming back to town. So I don't know if does that mean she's like a demon, or I don't know, or if it's just like the two like fronts of he's cold and she's hot and they're like causing thunder and lightning. I don't know. It's called a fatal attraction. Just all this stuff that it's invoking is just yet again another Whitesnake song about you just losing your shit over a woman because you're so just worked up about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it and there's nothing wrong with that kind of song. There's a lot of great songs like that, but just once it would be great if he wrote a song about something else. It's either the tender ballad about how much he loves the woman, or the I just gonna scream and rip your clothes off kind of song.
I mean, we got Gates of Babylon, Child of Babylon. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, do we?
Well, we do. It was just not from Whitesnake.
You've got Child of Babylon. You've got like Rosie's Place. You've got the stuff from his like early solo career, but he fell into this groove like in the late 70s and pretty much stayed there. But yeah, I really like the song though.
Mm-hmm.
And I am excited to see what next week will bring as we get into the last half or the second half of the album.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we have to do something, which is, of course, to thank our foundation level patrons coming in at the £3.50 Deep Purple New York tier. We have Lord Longford. At the £3 Aromatic Feed tier, we have Simon Ford and Richard Brees. At the €3.50 tier, Weston Supermare Pilgrim. At the 293 pence tier, we have
Blackmore Tights.
At the $3.33 halfway to evil tier, we have Stephen Sharp and Duncan Leask.
I'm alone here with empty nest, eagles, and snow.
At the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, we have Peter Gardot, Ian DeRosier, Mark Roback, Stuart McCord, Ivan Fjellbu, Runar Simonson, Ruinous Inadequacies, Corey Morissette, Joe Dopefish Sigler, Adam Cork, Tim Wood, Steve Down to Earth Kohler, and Michael. And at the $1.71 I Want My Own tier, we have
Rich, Youngwy, Shayla.
I know who Rich is. Rich is my favorite.
At the 10 Cold Hard Danish Kroner tier, we have Karsten Lau.
Cold Hard Danish Kroner.
And at the $1 made up name tier, we have the Good to Be Dead Leaky Mausoleum. Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 fanatic. Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, Anders Engstrom, ICDC, Durple Purple, David Haddam, Graham Bonnet's Disco Pants and Haircuts.
I said, Graham, our audience expects you to be a bit more dirty.
Disco Pants and Haircuts, yeah.
I'm just going to put my guitar across his head.
Eddie Lyon.
Homosexual.
And Sick Tone.
Where is she? Where is she? She's just about to close up the library.
Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. Thinking of what?
Every time I hear that line, it's always how I know the movie, but it's like every time I hear that line, it's always how ridiculously he delivered it. She's closing up the library. She's closing up the library. It's like, Calm down.
This is a problem for this guy. I would like to hear David Coverdale write a song about ancient Egypt, and I think he could tie it in. Remember that movie Stargate?
Yeah.
We were watching that movie years and years ago, and remember my buddy Dave Morris?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a friend of mine from like first grade through high school. We were just knew each other for actually maybe even kindergarten. Were we in kindergarten? I don't know. But at any rate, we were watching that movie, and they were talking about one of the pharaoh's tombs, and they were talking about the cartouche. And I remember my friend Dave saying to me, cartouche. He says, sounds like such a dirty word. He's like, she slapped me because I touched her cartouche. So I was like, maybe he could go that angle. It does sound dirty.
Saying stuff that sounds filthy, but it's not.
Yeah, just cartouche in general. It sounds like a dirty word.
Yeah, I feel like I know a few of those, but now I'm on the spot and I can't think of them.
Yes.
Maybe it's probably for the best.
Yeah, it might be. But anyway, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good after the first half of this album.
Yeah, I just hope it's not like a kind of a Glenn Hughes addiction thing where I'm like excited for the second half of the album and then it turns out to be a stinker.
It was a good first half though.
For me, Yeah.
Not even a stinker, just didn't
mildly disappointing.
John's like, stinker.
Stinker.
It's a stinker. All right. Well, folks, that's it. We did it. We did another half of an album.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to be back at you next week. But
hopefully not with the stinker.
We'll be back at you next week with what we hope is not a stinker. But what could it be? Are we going to be at you with part 2 of this? Are we going to sneak something else in? What do you think?
No.
Who knows?
Who knows? So I don't know if I told this because now we're talking about things that sound dirty that are, but then there are things that are dirty that are. It won't be that bad, but I don't know if I told this story before. Is the explicit
ranking on our episode enough to cover it?
No, but do you remember with me and E-Rock, we were doing like a follow up to one of the Tricky Dick albums, and so we were gonna do we had the name of our next album picked out, which we didn't wind up finishing, but it was called Stinkfinger. And what we wanted the album cover to be, and I feel like it was around the same time, was we had this clip art thing, and it was a finger just pointing up like this with the little stink lines coming off.
How is that clip art? What is that useful for? Is that what you saw and that's what prompted the name Stinkfinger?
No, we were just like, well, how are we gonna, it was one of those like really obvious things. It's like, well, let's just have a picture of like a cartoon finger with stink lines coming off of it.
Oh, I thought you had the actual like clip art.
No, I don't know.
I'm like, what would that be used for?
I don't know if it was clip art or if it was like, that clip art style type of thing. It's kind of like when they're just like, but I mean, it was like, call it like super obvious, like when they just like what was that album like, Breaking Out, and they show them like, breaking out of a jail cell, and it's like, yeah, okay, I get it,
I like to make it, I think it would be great to have it in you, because there's so many things you could be that would be both dirty and or disgusting. Yeah. But to make it like it's an icon that you'd actually see places, or like the Coverdale Page street sign, but with like a finger with stink lines, like it's a warning sign that, or like you have that you see on like chemicals, it's like corrosive, and they show like the hand and there's like dripping drops on it, and it's like eating into the hand. It's like really or like outside of like an electrical transformer, it'll be like it shows like electrocution and somebody just being like zapped. Just something really like a warning sign. Stink finger, like it's
warning, stink finger ahead.
Warning, this could create stink finger.
Yeah. All right. What that could have been. That could have been. You
guys had to class it up after the album Lady Die.
No, that was Princess Die.
Oh, sorry, Princess Die.
Princess Die, D-I-E.
Yeah, it was before she died, so it was it was slightly more tasteful.
No, it was after.
No, it was before.
No, it was after because we took a picture. We took a picture of her face and we superimposed tire marks over it.
Jesus, are you sure? I thought it was before.
No, it was at what did we have a premonition? Like,
well, no, I thought it was just a play on words. You know, like Prince instead of Princess Die, like Princess. Wasn't it like Princess ... die?
No, it was like Princess, die.
Oh.
D-I-E. We were stupid. We're in our 20s. We thought that this kind of shit was hilarious, which it is now, but for all different reasons. Because we're laughing at how dumb we were.
Oh boy.
But anyway, yeah, no, we did the tire track superimposed over her face, and we're like, oh, dude, that's wrong. All right, yeah, let's go with it.
Exactly. Tricky Dick didn't have a really good track record with not being offensive.
Anyways.
All right. Well, folks.
Nobody wants to hear about this.
Yes, folks. We will be back at you next week with more Good to be Bad, Bad to the Bone. Later.
If you like the Deep Purple podcast and would like to support the show, please consider joining our Patreon or donating on PayPal. Patrons get full access to the podcast, Discord server, ratings, spreadsheets, and live stream invites. You can also leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow the show on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, or Threads. You can also check out the website at deeppurplepodcast.com for show notes and more. Contact us via email at John or Nate at deeppurplepodcast.com. Thanks for listening.